Hello and welcome back, guys. In this video, I'm going to talk about operator overloading. This is the last topic of object-oriented programming. Till now, we have studied about inheritance. We have studied about classes, how we make class, how we inherit class, what is abstract class and stuff like that. You can check out the I button. Yes, you can check out the I button and you can go there and visit the videos. Yes. So let's talk about operator overloading. Yes. So till now, we can say that Python is a very easy language and it is very interesting language, yes, because we are able to create our own classes, we are able to create our own data types, yes. We are able to create our own data type, we are able to create our own methods with attributes and arguments and stuff like that. But what if I give you a condition where I have to add objects? Let's say we have a time class and this time class are having three objects, time1, time2, time3, yes, and I want to add these two times. I want to put it in the third object, yeah, like t3 equals to t1 plus t2, yes. Is this possible? The knowledge which you have till now, that is adding, yes, method, creating methods and stuff like that, can we add these two? Yes or no? No. But now we can, with the help of concept operator overloading. Okay, with the help of this thing, you will be able to add two objects, yes. As I told you, like, our target is to add time objects in this way, but as of now we are able to add it in this way. Like, we need to create our own add function which is adding objects, which is adding two time objects. Like in this particular program here, I have created the whole time method which is adding two times, taking argument to time1, and this is how I have called that particular method. I have created two objects, time1 and time2 and time3, of course, and then I'm adding those and I'm displaying the time. Yes, we are not able to do this. Python does not allow us to directly add objects, yes, directly add objects of class. That, so operators, here comes the concept of operators. Like, what exactly operators are? These are built-in, yes, these are built-in. These can only work on built-in data types. This can only work on built-in data types, yes. Like, let us take an example of integers, 2 plus 3. We are able to add this in compiler or, yes, in Python, because here 2 and 3, the operands are integers. They are of int type, which is already defined in Python, yes. So we are not able to add two objects in Python. But here comes the concept of operator overloading, which will helps the programmer to extend the meaning of existing operator. So we're going to extend the meaning of existing operator, that is plus is also will also be helpful over here to add two objects. Will also be helpful over here to add two objects, yes. So that in addition to the basic data types, means with basic data types it can also add objects. So they can also be applied to user defined data type. Yes, this is the thing that I want to tell you, that it can also be applied to user defined data types. Yes, moving forward. So yes, I told you, like, we know that we have integer, we can add two integers, we can add two strings, or we can concatenate two strings, we can append two lists. Here you can see, like, the plus operator over here is used to do multiple tasks, right? It is also available for adding, means programmed for adding integers. It is also programmed to add or concatenate strings. Yes, it is also for list. So here we are using the same operator, that is the plus operator, behaving differently with different data types. Yes, the plus operator is behaving differently with different data type. It is not, this thing is not doing 53, it is doing 8. Yes, sorry, it is doing 8. Yes, so here they are not adding to integers or something like that, but they are doing like string 1 ka value and string 2 ka value, right? Here we are adding two lists, right? So here the same operator plus is doing differently, is acting differently. This is nothing but concept of operator overloading. This is nothing but the concept of operator overloading, where we are using the same operator for different data types, but here these all are built-in data types. These all are built-in. Yes, these all are built-in data types, but we want to do it for user-defined data type. Yes, so what now operator overloading comes. So what is the concept? It provides our own definition for an operator to a class by overloading the built-in operators. You're going to overload the built-in operators. See, this is a normal case. Why it is a normal case? See, normal case C. Here it will assign 10 to B. It will assign A. It will assign 30 to B. And then when compiler reaches here, it sees the operator, notices the operator, and then it checks the operands. Like, are those built-in? If they are, no issues. But if they aren't, yes, if they aren't, like here in this case where we have objects, yes, where we have objects, it's going to give us error. Yes, it is going to give us error. Why? Because these two are not built-in data types. Yes, so here in this particular video, we're going to check, or we're going to do we're going to see how we can add these two objects, right? This is our motto for this video. Yes, now consider the operator overloading concept as another form of polymorphism. Yes, there are basically, what is polymorphism we have seen. Yes, what is polymorphism we have seen. Now polymorphism are having two types. They are compile time, and other is runtime. So the concept of operator overloading is a compile time polymorphism, and method overriding is concept of runtime polymorphism. Yes, compile time and runtime. So runtime is method overriding and compile time is method overloading. Yes, what is compile time? It is a concept by which we can perform single task in multiple ways. Yes, and let's take basic example, addition. We are doing addition of string, of list, of integers. Yes, so single operation is performed in multiple ways. Yes, so I told you, like, compile time is nothing but operator overloading and operator overriding. What is the difference between operator overloading and operator overriding? Operator overloading means it is performed with modules. Here we are just concerned with the class, the particular class and its methods. Yes, and its methods and modules. So here we are not focusing on the parent child or inheritance, something like that. So but in runtime we need a parent class and we need a child class also, so method overriding is done between parent class and child class methods, but here we are just focusing with methods of the same class. Yes, in compile time. Okay, this is the difference. So runtime brings the concept of inheritance. But we don't need any type of inheritance concept in compile time polymorphism. Yes, so this is the thing. What is difference between compile time and runtime? I don't think I have discussed this, but it's over here. So compile time, yes, what, doing the same operation in different ways. Yes, in runtime parent class and child class relationship is there, but in compile time we are just concerned with the relationship of methods. Yes, so operator overloading is less commonly known as operator ad hoc polymorphism. Yes, operator overloading is commonly known as what? Operator ad hoc polymorphism. What is ad hoc polymorphism? It is a specific space of polymorphism where different operators have different implementations. Yes, different operators have different implementations. Like plus operator is having different implementations. Multiplication, this is also having different implementation. So having different implementations of different operators is nothing but ad hoc polymorphism. Now let's see what are the advantages of operator overloading. With operator overloading, programmers can use the same notation for user defined objects and built-in objects. Yes, as I have told you, if you want to add two complex number 1 plus complex number 2, where these two are objects, yes, these two are object of class complex, let's say. Yes, these two are objects of class complex, so we are able to use the plus operator, plus notation for adding this. Yes, also we are able to use 2 plus 3, so plus is also, yes, plus is also there. So to add two complex numbers, we can simplify by C1 plus C2. We don't want to write like C1 dot add C2, something like that. Yes. Then similar level of syntactic support is provided to user type as provided to built-in class. Yes, the same explanation. Then operator overloading makes the program clearer. For example, let's see the statement where we are multiplying C1 multiplied by C2, which is divided by C1 plus C2, right? So this is what we are having. So it makes simplified thing. Yes, if you don't use operator overloading, you need to write all these things, but we are using operator overloading, so we'll be using this. Now let's see a very simple code where operator overloading is used and then where operator overloading is not used. So this is an example where concept of overloading is not used, right? So without operator overloading, as you can see. Now let's see this program. Let's overview this program. Here what we are doing, we are creating an init method, then we are setting the values, we are displaying the values, but you can see over here, what is it? It is C3. It's giving an error. C3 is equals to C1 plus C2, which is not allowed it in Python. We cannot directly add two objects. Yes, we cannot directly add two objects, and you can see it's giving an error also. If I run it, what type of error do we get? Let's see. Oops, sorry. What type of error do we get? We are getting unsupported operand types for plus, that is complex and complex. So clearly you can see that it is not allowed to directly add two objects of class. Yes, so now how can we convert this program into the program where we can add where we can add two complex objects directly? Here in this, you need to you need to insert, or you need to code a method that is this. I will tell you, def as defining a method, and we're going to use the add function. Yes, we're going to use the add function, and we're going to call that particular object that we have created. Let's see, your sample object. Yes, item. Okay, let's say we have a variable temp, and this temp is the object of class complex. Yes, as I told you, this is a compile time polymorphism where we are just related to the method. It is method overloading where we can perform operations between modules. So here I have created the class in a module, object in a module, okay, or method, let's say. Now this temp, yes, we're going to call the real method, real variable, and this is self dot real plus c dot real, whatever complex you have. So I am adding the self dot real plus c dot real, which is input, which is given as input. Then we have temp dot real, sorry, imaginary, now imaginary as self dot, sorry, self dot imaginary plus c dot imaginary. Yes, c dot imaginary, and then I'm returning temp, and I'm returning temp. So this is the program this is the code that I have added, which is adding the objects of class, which is adding the object of class. Let's see whether now this particular code runs or not. Let's see. Now we can add, okay, now we can add two objects, right? Now we can add two objects. Why? Because we have used the concept of operator overloading. We have used the concept of operator overloading using this AND method. Using this AND method. Is it okay? Now let's see. Are there more methods like this? Yes, there are. Let's see. So we have all these methods which can overload operators. For plus, we have what we have seen. For subtraction, we have this. For multiplication, we have this. So this is the table. You can take a screenshot, which is taken from Rima Thareja's Python programming. So here you can do anything. You can override anything, like whatever is listed over here. Like if you want to override the power, like you want to do like C1's power, you know, C2. If you want to do this, then you're going to use this method. And how you can do it, you can see it is over here, right? So this is it for the operator overloading's different functions. Yes. Now let's solve a problem. The example which we have taken the example which I am taking over here is I'm going to compare objects. I'm going to compare objects. How I'm going to compare objects? Like, see, what I have decided to take an example as in I'm going to compare two ages over here. Yes, age one, compare two ages by inserting the name and stuff like that. Okay, so we're going to take the name, we're going to take the last name, and we're going to set some data, we're going to display some data, and we're going to use this particular thing, that is GT. What does GT stands for? Let's see in our table. GT stands for greater than. Which person is having age greater? Okay, we're going to have to what? Two objects over here, age 1 and age 2. I'm going to code something. Now let's see. Now we have initialized the first name, we have initialized the last name, we have also initialized age. Now let's see what can set data do. Set data is going to set the data. So self dot f name, simple things, is equals to f name. Yes, sorry. Okay, then self dot last name, last name is going to be last name. Yes, then self dot age is going to be age. Yes, any issues over it? Because this is very much basic. Now we want to display the data. Yes, what we want to display, like we are going to print the name along with, you know, along like self dot first name, and then along with it I also want to print the last name, right? So last name is also going to print. Yes, and I also want to print the age. Yes, I want to print the age. Yes, means this is going to be displaying the age which is greater, the name along with its name, right? It's very simple. Real life application nahi hai. It's not a real life application. Yes, so let's see GT. What GT is going to do? It's just going to compare two things, right? So okay, it's going to compare. Now let's see for GT, that is going to greater than some self dot age 1 or self dot age is greater than self dot or let's say a dot age. Yes, a dot age. If it is greater, then I'm going to return true. If it is not, then I'm going to return false. Yes, return false. Now let's see what we can do. Any editing required over here? No. If it is greater, like I have directly used the operator, right? Now this is going to do everything. Yes, this is going to, now let's see, let's run this. Go to run compare objects and see here what the data that I have given is, like John Williams is 32 and Bob Harris is 25. It should return 32. Yes, it is returning. One who is older is the one who is older is 32, okay, which is John Williams. So John Williams must have space and Bob must have space. So yes, so this is it about comparing objects. So you can compare, you can add objects, you can compare objects, you can left shift objects, you can right shift objects, you can invert it, and every kind of operations can be overloaded using these functions. So it is much important to know what exactly functions you are using for overloading that particular operator. Yes, so now another concept, that is of overloading the in operator. Yes, what is in operator? You have used in operator in previous videos. In list video I have used what we used in for. We use in for checking whether it contains that particular value or not. Yes, it is used to check whether that particular list, tuple, dictionary is having that particular thing or not. Let's say we have a list. Yes, we have a list 2 3 4 5 6. Yes, and we want to check if 5 in list, if 5 in list, then what? Then return true, whatever. Yes, if 5 in list. So here what we have used, we have used the in operator. So in operator used to check whether it contains something or not. Yes, whether it is used to check whether it is contains or not. So how do we use it? How do we use it in class? Now how do we use it in class? We use the contains method. Okay, we use the contains method to overload the in operator. So here I have considered a program. Yes, what does it say? We have few marks of different subjects, and we want to see, we're going to enter the subject. Okay, we are going to enter the subject. The user is going to enter the subject, that let's say it enters computer. Yes, let's say it enters computer, and we're going to see what is the marks which is entered if that subject is in the class object M. Yes, so marks. So here what is the main code? This. Yes, so we're going to check whether it contains, and we have created an object sub. Yes, so this sub in the self dot marks, then true, then else false. Yes, so this is also very much simple. So you should remember what exactly is needed to check the availability of that particular item in list. Yes, so here the marks dictionary, this is a dictionary. Yes, marks dictionary was in the class. Yes, was in the class which we are using it in the object. So we have created our own data type, that is mark. Yes, so this is it for operator overloading also. Now there are few more operators, or let's say, yes, operator overloading functions which you need to understand, go in depth with it. Like let's say we have hex. Yes, we have hex. Yes, we have hex. Yes, we have hex for checking for converting a number to eggs. Similarly, we have oct for converting the number. Yes, similarly we have something called set item. Yes, something called set item which is going to set the item, doing the work of equal to, let's say equal to something like that. Yes, so there are different type of, for calculating the abstract value we have abstract. Yes, absolute value. So we have ABS for it, something like that. Then we have, yes, we have oct also. We have all these things. So these are the things that I want you to get into. Yes, see how this work. Get item, set item. These are also, you know, the operator overloading functions which are used for some things. Yes, so go in depth with it, try some examples, but before leaving you, I'm giving you an assignment. Yes, so these are the two questions which I want you to do. You can get the solutions of it either in the comment section or in the website, that is blogspot, eat sleep code repeat blogspot.com. okay, so what are those problems? Write a program to implement timer using increment overloading operator. Yes, you're going to create timer of yourself. Then I want a menu driven program to overload this and this on string class. Yes, appending, subtracting something, whatever. So understand it, what exactly I wanted from here, what exactly you think it would be. Yes, and do this. So at last I'll tell you, like, share and subscribe. This is it for object oriented programming in Python. If there anything left, then I'll be updating. Yes, and from the next video we'll be talking just about problem solving. Yes, problem solving will be there. So in problem solving I will be taking questions from HackerRank from basic to advanced. Yes, from basic to advanced. So this is it. Don't forget to subscribe, code a key. Yes, and thanks.